Alright, got a bit of a nasty TS430S, and unfortunately the easiest way to get to these faults is to pull the VFO out, give yourself a bit of room. Now what we've got is a crow hooked up at the moment to our VFO, so we can actually monitor sorry, let me show you it won't monitor right now, and I'll tell you why. What we've got a problem with, as I spin this VFO, watch this. Okay, now I just need to be able to see that a bit better. Is that light's killing me? That's better. It doesn't actually take up well. Okay, so 14, 27, 85, etc. going. So have a look at this. Now, and this is the problem with this VFO, I'm spinning both directions, but see the thing that's very obvious? As I'll go there. I wonder if I can just get that in a bit closer. As I'm spinning both directions, I'm going up in frequency. Alright, so I have this little setup in here. Now, what I was going to show you on the Crow, let me just quickly give that a bit of a... Because I've done a few of these, believe it or not, even though I've hooked up a Crow here, and I'll show you why, what we can do is we can adjust the little photo sensors in there. It's still not right there. It's got to come around a bit further. Yeah, still going up. You've got two adjustment points on there. I'll just get a little bit of light on that. One of the things I suggest is make a mark where you've started. So basically on here you can see my little black marks. So it gives me a concept of being able to look at just where my adjustments were. If, through all my playing around here, now we actually, so it's easy to just hook up the VFO, we actually just quickly clip the leads. I'm just running off and pulsing, getting a pulse off the VFO. So we just want to check that the VFO is actually working. Now, it actually won't work until you get these adjustments right. So you can do the finer calibrations, but it will actually be a pain until you get that right. Now, let's have a look here. Yeah, see, once again, that light's terrible. Don't know if you're having the same problem, but through the camera, actually, if I just look to the side, it'd be better. Okay, so at the moment, it's all over the place. Right, just need two hands to adjust this, but what we're going to do is we're going to set up an adjustment here on this, and I'll show you how that's all done in a second. Alright, so I really need to get a stand for this. I need two hands sometimes. Okay, so basically what we've done, and as I'm going down there, up, sorry. So I was thinking that's not going down. Alright, so let's go the opposite way. Now we're going down, okay. Alright, so let me just show you inside one of these things. Okay, so we've just turned everything off for the minute, just so you can have a bit of a look at how this works. They have these little photo transistors sitting here. And as you can see with this disc here, it's not easy to see with the way I've got this. See if we can get that a bit better. That might be a better shot. As that VFO turns, the light source obviously changes. And what we're doing here is I'm turning that VFO very slowly. But as you can see, the faster that light source is going to change on the little photo transistors, you're going to get your VFO going up and down. It can actually tell, up versus down, as long as what we were just adjusting in here is adjusted correctly. So there's a couple little trim pots, and they are a bit delicate, and they can be a pain once they warm up. So the idea would be to put this on a small motor and have this VFO spinning so that your Crow can actually give you and know exactly how many RPM, and then set each side, reverse, backwards, etc. Now, I've tried that. and to be honest, I can set it up faster doing what we're doing right here. Generally, just getting a feel for it side to side. The adjustment will be out by about, sort of probably a quarter of a turn max. So you sort of know what you're looking for. You just want to get that up down frequency. But anyway, that's sort of what's in there. A bit of old technology in some respects, but functional, works. Just needs calibration every now and again. So now we have a counter that goes down like it should, and then goes back up like it should. So as you can see, not a difficult calibration. Do leave it out for a while, just let the radio warm up. And I know that sounds like an old-fashioned thing to say, but I've had it where I've put it all back together again and gone, oh, you're joking. So that calibration can be very fine, so don't be too disgruntled. And also, don't be scared to look. It's so much easier to pull this stuff out and give yourself some room to do what we're doing here. Put some light back on here, and obviously, like this is my little Harley Davidson cloth, polishing cloth. But keep things isolated. There are contacts underneath here, but you just give yourself so much more room while you're working on a radio like this. This one's a piece of junk, honestly. This is not a good radio. And by the way, to my mate that just sent me one, this is not yours. You might be worried, thinking, did I just send that to him? No, this is not that one. Yours is brilliant. Anyway, so yeah, just when you're finished, just clean up all your wiring here, a little bit of heat shrink, etc. Now, honestly, you I've done this to show you just the concept of how we'd hook up to a Crow, and how we'd get pulses. We're not even getting pulses at the moment because I haven't got it set up. Oh, I could just, no, it's not going to see that at the moment. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so to give you an idea, if we were basically trying to, if we could spin this VFO in a linear fashion and have it set on a motorized setup, because at the moment it's going to be, see how I'm moving back and forth there. You can see the change of direction, but without having a motor sitting on this, it's really difficult. Yeah, and you only need something that spins quite slow, but it has to be linear so that when you go from reverse to forwards, you can then monitor that level. Now I'm doing it in a really awkward sort of way at the moment, but this is more just to show you. We've actually, there's a couple of ways we could do this, just by throwing the front over and get in if we really need to. But honestly, you really do need to take that VFO to bits and check that disc that I was showing you before inside. Sometimes you'll find the plate on the disc. We've seen one before where it had actually slipped, so that light that we were sort of seeing in the way that disc turns wasn't actually refracting the light correctly. So sometimes it can be a mechanical problem, not an electrical problem or electronic problem. So yeah, all right, let's put it back together and see if it spins around. Thought I'd just mention, this is the just before we put it back together, this is the sheet, the official way of checking the actual square wave coming off that encoder. And so there is in the TS430 manual a specific setup. As I said, you do need a linear. They're suggesting here at 300 RPM, so you want that to be 300 RPM reverse, 300 RPM forwards. As you can see, without doing any of that, we have been able to set, this thing up, quite okay. So don't panic too much. Generally, if there's no plate that's been moved or anything that's happened, you'll be able to readjust it. Just very fine adjustments, and mark your adjustments, mark before your adjustments, and then if you get yourself into a where you just think, oh, I'm totally stuffed, then bring your trim pots back to exactly where they were before, start again, and just fine adjustments left to right on each one of them, and you'll find that one will control the up, one will control the down, and you want to be just on the thresholds of those. Okay, now we'll put it back together. As we go to put it back together, just a comment, when we go in and we need to intercept these lines, you could sit there and try and tag on here. There are ways to do it without cutting this lead. Quite seriously, this is what we do, is we basically make space between each one. So the idea is that I can have these sitting here flying around as a fly lead, and I can clip in with my Crow leads and have a bit of a look. We've tried it every other way. To be honest, this is still probably the fastest way to just, we just quickly heat shrink this and it's back together and no one knows. And if they do, well, this is such a piece of rubbish that no one cares. Sorry, this particular radio has a hell of a background, and I'm using it more as a sample just to show you how to align the TS430 encoder, without having need a crow even, but sort of if you've got a motor like we talked about. Anyway, okay, so that's just all that's about, is just clean that up, bit of heat shrink. Don't use tape, heat shrink it please. Oh, good on you. Alright, so when you're heat shrinking, just a little bit of, we just use a Weller heat gun there. Off you go. As you can see, it just heats up quite okay. Alright, so that's what we want to see on those 4 connections, something that doesn't sort of look disastrous. Okay, so we end up with a VFO that has had a little bit of butchering to it, but it works, and that's the thing. I do find taking this out, getting this VFO into a million pieces is the better way to go, because I've seen them with mechanical faults, and look, I do sort of want to show you guys a little bit about how you, if you did put a motor on it, how you'd pulse it, and that'd be your simplest way. You could pick up off here, there's no question, but it is not the type of radio that I'm too concerned about at the moment. As far as cosmetics, getting it going is probably more the issue on this one. It's a little bit sort of average. Hand painted lids with a paintbrush, I reckon, and a few things. All right. Just in case you're not aware, the VFO plugs down the back here of the board. So basically, filter board, IF board comes out. This PLL board here just plugs into, and then basically all this just goes back on top. Okay, just a quick note on the VFO when you're putting it back in or taking it out. These 2 screws here, which you sort of assume a part of the VFO, is actually not. It's just the nut off here that needs to come off, and that whole VFO comes out. Obviously, this IF board just comes up. The whole front, just by removing this screw here and that screw there, and the same on the other side, flips forward, so very easy to get out. They couldn't have made this any easier, to be honest, so that's good. The good news. Also, don't do what I did. I'd forgotten. Don't take the rubber off here. There is no Allen key to be done up. The rubber, I'm just placing it back on now. But this just pulls off, and I have not got that in the right spot. Actually, I can just see. Hang on, I'll pull this off and put it on properly. Okay, so that's better. There is a bit of a cutout here for the VFO to just have that rubber on, but well, this rubber's a bit average at the best, but so is this. Okay, so now let's find out if we put it back together properly. The idea is it will turn on, so that's good. Now, down should be down. Down is down. Up should be up. Up is up. That's good. Alright, so we have got a working where both directions made it go up last time. We've now got that going down quite well, just testing, but yeah, no, that's working well. Alright, so the other thing too, just when you get one with the VFO up, down, etc., the other thing you need to check too, these microphones have up, down, so basically, see how I'm doing that with up there, sorry, and down there. Now, if the microphone works and the VFO is giving you trouble only going one direction, then yes, you've got an issue that is in that VFO 98.7% of the time. I'll just allow that little bit for, I could be wrong. Anyway, okay, so this radio is far from fixed, by the way, but this has at least got the VFO going. Just to give you an idea just how much work we've got to go on this thing. Well, let's find out. A little bit curious myself. Let's, what have I got on the generator? Let's just put it on 71.50. Oh, hang on, get the step function down there. And just remember, yes, you got fast and slow on this. So you can do either. Oh, jeez. 7149.85. Okay, let me just set this up. Right, so we are pumping quite a bit of let's have a look. Let's put loads into it. 15.8 millivolts, and we're getting absolutely nothing on it. So I don't know if we'll do a part 2, but there will be certainly more to be done on this thing. From memory, we go to AM, and I think we had a bit of power on AM. Let's just, yeah, let's have a look here. Let's turn that off and go. So we've got 112 watts of AM coming through, and from memory, sideband 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hardly enough to make the millivolt meter swing over. So yeah, more work to be done on this one, but at least, and look at this on-air light here that's staying on, and the Vox isn't on, the send switch is not on. Even if we pull the mic, let's have a look. It's yeah. So, and the thing is, it's actually in receive mode at the moment, but it thinks it's in, yeah. So this has got a few really strange issues, which we'll get into, I'm sure, at some stage. I'm not sure that's one for tonight, but anyway, at least we've sort of got a VFO up and down working on the thing. Thank goodness. You might say you've got a long road to go on this one. Yeah, well, I would agree with that, but we'll just take it as, when I get time, have a bit more of a play with it and see where we get it. 73s, VK3 Charlie Mike, I hope you've enjoyed how to pull a VFO to bits and how to put it all back together again, and how to, with a bit of a Bushman technique, you can get them, back to swinging up and down like they should be. And certainly if you've got a little motor, as we discussed, you can put it on your Crow and have a good look at that. 73s, all the best. Have a good night. This is VK3 Charlie Mike. All the best. Cheers.